Are you truly in control of your destiny, or is there an invisible force which is actually controlling your fate? Today, we are discussing one of the most key components of Vedanta, that is karma. And we will find an answer to the question of free will versus destiny. And this answer might totally shock you. Today, we are diving deep into the teachings of the Upanishads and the secrets that the ancient sages have given us about free will and destiny. The Advaita channel is about consciousness and conscious creation. Here we explore Vedanta and various other ancient teachings from India to understand the nature of reality and to consciously create our lives. Karma is not simply punishment and rewards. It is far more powerful and liberating than we imagine it to be. So, let us understand the essence of karma and destiny today. In part 1, we will understand the seeds of karma. In order to do this, let us look at the story of Arjun. Arjun is a young boy in the city, and his parents and his home is going through some difficulties. His father is an honest hard worker, but the salary that he gets is not sufficient to sustain the family and to pay for the education of his children. So he struggles to make his ends meet, because of which the entire home is struggling. At this time, Arjun's father loses his job, which causes more suffering in the home, because of which a lot of sadness and a lot of pressure is on everyone, including Arjun. In this state of sadness, Arjun slowly walks up to the terrace so that he can get some fresh air. There, he sees his grandfather sitting in a corner and meditating blissfully. Looking at his grandfather, Arjun walks up to him and asks him the questions which were going through his mind. He asks, "Grandpa, why are we going through this suffering? My father is a good person. My mother is a good person. We are all good people. Why do bad things happen to good people?" To this, his grandfather answered smilingly, "Arjun, have you ever planted a mango seed?" Arjun seems to be confused with this question. What sort of a question is this, Grandpa? I'm asking about the troubles that we are having at our house. How can we overcome this, and why is this happening to us? That was my question. "Yes, I know, Arjun," says his grandfather. "But have you ever planted a seed of mango?" Arjun says, "No." And to this, his grandfather says, "If you had planted the seed of a mango, you would be having a mango today." Arjun seems to be confused by this. He always looked at his grandfather as a wise man and as an intelligent person. But what sort of an answer is this? Then his grandfather goes on to explain, "Today I will talk to you about karma. Karma is not about punishment or rewards. It is simply the law of cause and effect. You see, we do various things in this world, and this world and everything that we do is like sowing seeds in the garden. For every seed we sow, we will have to reap the fruits of it. And whatever we have done, we are experiencing the consequences of it," says the grandfather. To this, Arjuna asks, "What have I done? What has my father done? He has done nothing but good things in his life." To this, his grandfather says, "You are looking at our lives from a very small perspective. We have lived very long lives. We have lived a life of ignorance for thousands and millions of years in different forms and in different ways. So, all of the memory and all of the actions through thoughts, feelings, emotions, and deeds, constitute memory and karma. And because of all this, each of us are where we are today. And because of all this, we experience whatever we are experiencing today. This is karma. This is the law of cause and effect," says the grandfather. "Your family's troubles are because of the seeds that you planted a very long time ago. But then remember that even here and now, you're planting new seeds. So don't worry about the past, simply focus on how you are today. Arjun thinks about all this for a moment and he asks, but grandpa, if everything is determined by karma and by my past actions, what is the point of living my life and how can I change anything? To this, the grandpa answers, now this is where reality gets really interesting. You need to understand the four aspects of karma. There is Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, Agami karma, and Kriyamana karma. When we look at all four aspects of karma holistically, the mystery of destiny and free will is solved forever. And like this, he goes on to explain Agami karma is the net total karma. It is the total accumulation that an individual jiva has because of its actions through all of its lifetimes. So, this is the total memory that each and every one of us hold. And then there is Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is one aspect of Sanchita karma. It is one part of Sanchita that we bring in this life. Our Prarabdha karma is responsible for the type of parents we have, type of family we have, the type of body we have, and it is also responsible for the life circumstances in which we are born into. This is not in our control right now because it has already happened. But then there is Agami karma, and Agami karma is about how we respond to the circumstances that come to us. And based on our response, new karma is generated and it goes on adding to the Sanchita again, which will bear fruits for us in the next life. But then there is also Kriyamana karma, which is the key to unlocking the destiny. Kriyamana karma is an aspect of Agami karma that we perform in this lifetime, whose results will come to us in this lifetime itself. So even though because of our past actions, because of Sanchita karma, because of our Prarabdha karma, we are where we are today, our response to our life circumstances will determine our destiny. This is the power of Agami karma and Kriyamana karma. And this is what Arjun understands. Now let us come to the part 2 of the story, which is the illusion of the doer. Arjun takes this message to heart and he begins to work hard. He begins to study well and he gets a scholarship in a very good college. And he completes his education and he begins to work at a great company. He soon brings his entire home out of poverty, and because of his dedication and hard work, he begins to experience professional success. Like this, his life transforms completely and he is now financially free. In this state, Arjun once comes back to his house and begins to talk to his old grandfather again. Arjun asks, Grandpa, I have achieved success. I have taken my entire family out of poverty and we are all doing fine now. But still, I'm missing something. I'm working harder and harder and this is causing a lot of stress in my life. There is a lot of work pressure, there is a lot of things I need to manage, and all of this is becoming more of a burden to me. What can I do now and how can I navigate my life further? To this, his grandfather goes on to explain the illusion of doer. As per Advaita Vedanta, who we think we are right now is an illusion. Now, my name is Sujan. And this Sujan is a made up name. It's a concept. It is simply a label. It is literally an illusion and Sujan doesn't exist as per Advaita Vedanta. This is the truth. The truth of Vedanta is that there is just one consciousness in and through. And all the duality is simply because of avidya. It is because of our ignorance that we perceive difference and duality. So, this is what the grandfather explains to Arjun. Arjun asks again in confusion, what do you mean by there is no doer? Am I not doing all these things? Am I not working hard? then how can you say there is no doer? To this, his grandfather asks Arjun to try out a simple experiment, and you do the same as I walk you through this. Close your eyes and think about who you are. Who do you think you are? Whatever name through which you call yourself, think about that name. What is it? When you say, I am doing things, who is that I who is doing things? Is it the body? If we inquire even a little bit, we can go beyond the body. We can say, I am not the body, but I am something which is right now in the body. But let us go even further. What do you mean by I? Is that I referring to a set of thoughts, memories, feelings, and emotions? Is that I something that actually exists? When we begin to inquire in this way, we will come to a conclusion that there is technically no I. The I that we think we are is simply an illusion, it is fiction. It is just a bundle of thoughts, feelings, and emotions which we refer to as I by giving it an identity. It technically doesn't exist. And once we go deeper and deeper, we will see that all there is just one pure consciousness. Just like Bhagavad Gita says, all actions are performed by the gunas of Prakriti. But he whose mind is deluded by egoism thinks I am the doer. So Arjuna asks, what does this mean? Does it mean that I should give up doing? Does it mean that I should not do anything? And the grandfather answers, no, this is not the answer. It is not about not doing anything, but it is about detaching ourselves from our actions. When we associate and when we identify ourselves with each of the things we do, we create pressure, we create stress and anxiety within us. When we perform action while being detached from the outcomes of our action, and when we learn to surrender the outcomes of our action, we perform action in a much better way and we are free from all the stress and suffering. So the grandfather here is teaching Arjun the secret of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is about surrendering the outcomes of our action. And it is about recognizing that literally we are not who we think we are. We are beyond this limited identity, and hence this limited identity is actually not performing anything. Whatever is happening, there is just one reality who is responsible for it. There is just one reality which is doing everything and within which everything happens. So I surrender the outcomes of my action to that ultimate reality and I let go of things. This is Karma Yoga. So the grandfather says, act with detachment, do your best, but surrender the results to the divine flow of existence. Now let's come to part 3, which is the cosmic game of hide and seek. Listening to the teachings of his grandfather, Arjun takes a walk. He begins to contemplate on the nature of reality. He begins to go within himself to understand who he really is. After a while, he gets back to his house and he comes to his grandfather again. And he says to his grandfather, Grandpa, this life is like a giant hide and seek game, isn't it? It's like I am playing the game of hide and seek with myself by creating an illusory world. Yes, says the grandfather. That's one way to look at it. So, all there is in this reality is one I, the one consciousness, which is within which everything exists and which is within each and every one of us and which is in fact each and every one of us. Once we realize this, we realize the truth of Advaita Vedanta. The grandfather goes on to say, you have found the profound truth, Arjun. This is in fact how reality actually is. It is as if that one I is playing hide and seek with itself by forgetting who it is and by creating a game and creating a world in order to play this game. And reincarnation is part of this divine play. The Atman, our true self, was never born and it never dies. Like Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, It is eternal and unchanging. The cycle of birth and rebirth is like consciousness putting on different costumes, playing various roles. Each life is an opportunity for the one to experience itself in countless forms, gradually awakening to its own true nature. Then Arjuna asks, if this is the case, Grandpa, why does it all feel so real? Why is there suffering in this world? The grandfather goes on to say, this game can be as real as we want it to be, and it can be as much of an illusion as we want it to be. How we look at this reality is left to us. If we take it to be real, it becomes real. If we want to transcend it, we can transcend it. But if one is seeking absolute fulfillment and absolute freedom from suffering, we need to go beyond this reality to that ultimate reality or Brahman. This is the essence of all the Upanishads. So, in each moment, we have the power to change the momentum of karma, and we have the power to take destiny in our own hands. But at the same time, since we are not who we think we are, since we are not this body and mind, destiny itself becomes a meaningless concept, because from the ultimate perspective, all there is and all there ever was that Brahman, that unified field of consciousness. Like the great sage Ramana Maharshi said, there is no destiny. Surrender and all will be well. Throw all responsibility on God and do not bear the burden yourself. In that moment, Arjun sees the truth. He sees that there is no differentiation between him and the world. The boundary between what he thought was him and what he thought was not him simply dissolved for a moment, and he gets the truth of his grandfather's teachings. So, this was the story of Arjun. And from this, we need to learn that we are not victims of our destiny. Even here and now, however your life is, you can take charge of it and you can transform it. You can create a life of fulfillment and holistic abundance. This is by understanding the truth of Vedanta, and this is by understanding karma more thoroughly. But at the end, we must realize that whatever may be the case and whatever may be the situation that we are in, we are here and now that ultimate reality or Brahman. And once we tap into our true nature, we become naturally fulfilled and we become free from fear and suffering. This is the goal for each and every one of us.